Good morning, Academy 55. David Khan here on Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. It's 5 to 8 in the morning. We're looking at the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame, trying to find a trade using the Academy 55 indicators and strategy. How you doing this fine morning? It's another hot one down here in Cornwall where I live. We're going to have a look at the charts. What we can see right away is we have a large area of consolidation, which should not be a surprise because it happens 80% of the time. And I'm finding, in all honesty, that over the last few months, well, since Trump's been in charge, it's even more than 80%, I guess, because of the unpredictability of what is going on in the world and the markets. But this is the sort of thing we have to try and deal with. But all this is sideways movement. It's no good for trading in. You can't really do anything with it. Up, down, up, down. You just can't get a trade, you know. But this is the time of the day when things generally break out, if they're going to break out at the start of the London opening, the Europe opening, and all that good stuff. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to take off the indicators and have a look at the higher time frames to see if we can get an overall general picture of what is maybe going on in a bigger scheme of things. Just take these little lines off a minute because they're old buy and sell zones and they're not relevant at the moment. So we're on the daily. We can see a little bit of imbalance down here, so I'll draw that up. And because it's on the daily, it's quite a way away, but it needs to be filled at some stage, so we'll do that. So it'll be from there, that wick there to that little bit there. That is daily imbalance. Settings. Fair value gap. That's what they're called. And it's a buy FEG fair value gap. So I mark it in green because it needs some selling power in there. And indeed, price is coming down to see that selling power. But yesterday, they were very indecisive what they were doing. The day before, they were very indecisive what they were doing. Today is just indecisive, indecision. Anyway, so we'll go down to the 4-hourly. And we can see that indecision borne out by the fact we got all these in actual fact, I think that fair value gap has been, that was a fair value gap there, but that's already been destroyed. So we'll remove that. But yeah, this is the fair value gap that we're interested in, and it's heading down. Will it tap into that? Well, it's going to tap into that at some stage, whether it's this week. But we are on a downward sort of momentum. The dollar is having a bit of a fight back. We've got a little bit of imbalance up here also, so we'll be prudent to draw that in. But that's quite a way away from where we are. But, you know, it's there. So that's a sell FEG. So that'll be marked in red because it's all buying power. So, sorry, all selling power in that candle. So that needs a bit of buying power. So is price going to come out and tap into that and then come down and get this? Or is it going to tap into that and then come up and get that? We don't know which way it's going to go. It all depends on what the news is and all that good stuff. So we'll put our line chart on, and what we can do is we get one or two lines. Well, price is down there, so we will have a look here. And as we can see right here, horizontal line, we have right there, we have a point there, look. It's been resistance there and it's been resistance there. So could this be support if price goes up and then comes back down again? So we'll put it on the hourly. And actually we'll drag that down. We'll keep it as it is because that's the 4 hourly one. So, but we got a point here as well. Horizontal line. This area here dragged along there for a while and also was resistance there. So that is a fairly important area for price to be. So, and that's nearest the price. So we'll put that in, but that's the nearest one. So we'll go back to candles, put a 5 minute chart on, and we notice that we have a sell zone there. So we'll mark that up. And also we have a buy zone here. But this is in the consolidation area. So, I mean, there's only 81. It's a 9 pip. There's not a lot you can do till this breaks out of consolidation because of, yeah, and it's all a bit of nothing really. Um, but we'll mark the ones up below as well. So that's a buy zone there. And a sell zone up here. We keep coming back to this periodically because sell zones will paint and repaint as the time goes on, but this is the 5 minute time frame. So we go back to the minute, and as you can see, we are still very much in this consolidation mode in between this buy zone, sell zone here and a buy zone there. So we'll put our indicators back on. So as you can see, we've got a good reason not to trade really, because, and this is the whole idea of having a low target to go for each month, because we only need like 10% of money profit per month. So therefore, when we see times like this, the probabilities are screaming it's not very good, because as you can see, if you took a buy there, you would have been disappointed. If you took a sell there, you would, well, you couldn't take a sell there because it never went green. But if you took a sell there, let's see, actually, let's see, this is at 10 to 6 this morning. Let's have a look and see. It would have been short position, 2.2 puts away, which is there. So you would have been there. Now you would have won that one. But as you can see, they are sticking to the rules, sell alert. Stop loss there where the green wave meets the red. So you would have got in there. Your 2% would have been there. So you would have got that trade. And yet you wouldn't have got these trades because I can see that immediately that and now we've got a buy alert, but we're in the sell zone. So excuse me a minute, I'm just going to put the fan on. This is 8:05 in the morning, but already it's getting a bit muggy here. So got the window open and everything, but anyway, so yeah, we're in a sell zone. I'll switch the indicator off. Always switch the indicator off if you're going above the minute time frame because we only use the indicator on the 1 minute. See, as you can see there, we are well and truly in the sell zone. So that doesn't give you confidence to continue with that buy. Put the indicator back on. Is it going to reach that support and resistance line and bounce back again? And the previous recent history has said probably yes, it will. We haven't got no evidence to say that it's going to rocket up, but at the same time, like I said, this time of day, it's contradictory. But this time of day, sometimes they do. But not with my money, ain't. And indeed, we are reacting off that a bit. So what we'll do is we will play this one a bit.
Hi, this is Steve with a very short video to show you where to get the training for the indicators and tools we use inside Academy 55. So once you're logged into the members area, you'll see in the premium dashboard this section that's entitled Start Learning. And if you click here, that'll take you through to the learning library. Now, we'll say at this point, we highly recommend you watch each of these videos 2 or 3 times to get a full understanding of how everything works. Here you'll find tutorials on using the MT4 Trade Assistant and how to use the MT4 platform with the Trade Assistant. This is the longest video you'll find inside the platform. It's around 30 minutes long, well worth your time. Watch the video once, then maybe write a few questions down that you might have for yourself and watch the video for a second time, and things will really start to make sense. By the time you watch it 3 times, you'll fully understand how everything works. So that's the longest video. It's about 30 minutes long, well worth your time. And then you can jump into individual trainings here for how to remove indicators. These videos are just a couple of minutes long. How to move MetaTrader around like you can in TradingView, Trading Assistant controls, how to do back testing in TradingView, how to draw vertical lines to mark out your hour, and so much more. And by the time you watch this video or see this video, there might be other trainings in this section. But everything here is well worth your time, and you find that, as I said a moment ago, from the main dashboard in the Start Learning section. Now, one more thing just to mention here. If you're looking for anything in particular, if you come down to the support name of FAQs, click on Get Support, and in this area you'll find a detailed FAQ section, and you can come through here. For example, if you're looking for an answer to a question about MetaTrader, have a look through these, and once you click through you'll find direct links to videos that give you answers to most of the questions that we get asked on a regular basis. So hopefully you found this useful, and back to your further training.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Okay, so right, we knew this was a sell zone. But again, if I take the premium off and go onto the 5-minute time frame, we can also see that we have imbalance on this candle and an imbalance on that candle on the 5-minute candles. And true to form, price is looking to tap into this. Will it go up to there in time? I think it's being driven by how weak or how strong the dollar will be as to what will happen. It doesn't help anybody the fact that President Trump alters his mind so often as he does. This is reflected in a very nervy market, because if you're investing millions of pounds or dollars or yen or euros or whatever, you're not going to want to have any big investments with confidence, are you? Because in the world we live at the moment. So this is why we see all this. It's just very, very unfortunate. But the market needs to equalize itself. But the thing is, it can do that anytime it wants, really. If there's an indication of the dollar uh, losing strength, keep losing strength, then certainly they'll do that. But if it looks like the dollar will gain strength, then the euro will fall and we'll go down there, and we can and they can come up and get this on a new spike some other time of the day. And all we're doing is following the footprints of what they are doing, because we don't know. We don't know the powers that be, what they think about equalizing the market right now or maybe later on. So all we can do is follow what they're doing. But we know we're in the sell zone. There's another sell zone up here. I mean, for example, if there was enough enough sell orders up here, they may wish to not only equalize all that, but go and take all these sell orders and then come back down again. But there might be a lot more buy orders tempting them to come down and take these buy orders first before doing that. Like I say, we don't know that. If we did, we'd be very rich. But so let's put the indicator back on. But the thing is, and also oh right, I'm on the 5-minute. Sorry. On the 1 minute now, we are getting above the purple line, so there is a bit of a buy bias going on. But it's we've got to be very, very careful, because this is a sell zone, that's a sell zone. The only thing we're interested in really is the fact that we've got all this imbalance up here on the 5-minute time frame that I just showed you. Just the good news is we've broken out of the consolidation. But what you find with consolidation, when they break out, when it turns around, usually it goes roughly to this area here, halfway of the consolidation, and then rests a while and then does its thing. Sometimes, depending on the time of the day and depending on what news there is around and stuff like that. Because we've got again, we've got look at my fibs. From down there to up there has all been buying. So assuming there's no more higher highs, we can see price getting down to the 50%, at least the 50% level, which is there. and then either shooting off again to fill that imbalance that we know is over there, or coming down again. Could even get down to 61.8 or 71.2, which would make sense for it to do so because there is imbalances on these candles, even though they're only minute candles, these have still got to be filled. It might even get down to 88.6, but now we're creating new highs again. So obviously that goes there. So that raises that 50% line. But all this is true analytics. And the idea of the Academy 55 strategy is to alleviate all that in the fact that we just rely on the zones. And is the price in the zone? Yes, it was. So we are only taking the next sell when it happens. And that's what the Academy 55 is all about, to simplify things. But all these things I used to do before. And in a way, you can talk yourself more out of not taking a trade than taking a trade. But that's okay because to counteract that, like I said, we've got a very low monthly target. So really you want the best probabilities of a trade for yourself. So if you talk yourself out of a trade, it's fine. You've got plenty of opportunities to take other trades. We'll do away with that line now because that's no longer really worth anything because we know we're in the sell zone. There's another sell zone there. So really, price, is there a lot of sell orders up here? The way things are gearing up, maybe so. And this buy here, for me, would have been a risky buy. But let's just get things a bit bigger so you guys can see. Price would have gone there on the trend line. It's just turned green. You would have been, give yourself 2.2 pips, which is there. So you would have been going on that. And as you can see, we would have well got our 2%. But at that time, as you can see, the risk was the support and resistance line, which you respected there, would it do the same? In which case you would have only got 1%. You wouldn't have got your 2%. So hindsight's a wonderful thing. We weren't to know that. And we knew we were in the sell zone. But ultimate and also contradicting myself, I said this is the time of day when things start to trend a little bit more, and they did. But you can't rely on it all the time. Sometimes I see these not trending and taking off till after 9 o'clock. So me with my cautious head on, for me, this wasn't a trade because of the low target, the low monthly target. I'm quite happy to just sit and buy my time to wait to what I think is better probabilities. And for me, better probabilities is the next sell. Because not only are we in sell zone territory now, let's see what we've done with this Take the indicators off, go on the 5 minute time frame. Right, so we've tapped into this, just about nearly tapped into this imbalance on this candle here. But we've created imbalances down here now. So are they going to tap into this later? Or tapping into this? But we know we're in sell zone territory, so I wouldn't be taking any buys. Well, we can't do that because the next one is a sell. So while we're waiting for things to possibly develop for us, let's play this.
Hi, this is Steve, and in this short video I'm going to just show you the settings for the trade assistant to make sure that you've got the minimum 2 pip stop loss on the Euro USD or any currency pair, and how you set it for if you're trading a commodity like the US 100, because the settings are slightly different. So here you can see we're on the Euro USD chart here. I've got my risk to reward on the trade assistant locked at 2 to 1. I've got my risk balance at 1%. Lot calculator is on, and my little purple button here between the buy and sell is also activated. So we're ready to bring the trade assistant onto the chart. Now you'll notice here that we've got the stop loss set at 20. That indicates 2 pips when you're on a currency pair. And we can actually change that here by typing over it. So if I type in there 40 and just tab off here, you can see now we've got a stop loss of 4 pips because we're on a currency pair. In this example it's Euro USD, but it could be Euro GBP or any currency pair. So let's just put that back to 20 for our 2 pips. We'll click off here, and now we'll just put the lines on so that you can see that is showing us 2 pips over here on the actual tool, ready to actually get involved with a trade if that's what we were going to do. But that's not what we're here for now. I'm going to click off the lines here, and what we're going to do is we're going to change our chart from Euro USD to US 100, and I can do that by dragging it onto the screen here. You'll see it now switch over to US 100, and now you can see that stop loss says 20, and that's wrong for a commodity. So what we want to do here is come in here and type 2000. This is the equivalent of 2 pips on a commodity such as US 100. So now when I put the lines on, you'll see we've got the number 2000 here, and if I just zoom around, you'll notice the 2 to 1 still applies, 2000 and 4000 here, where we've got a $1,000 trade in place, risking $1,000 to win $2,000. So that's the number that you need to get your 2 pip minimum on. So the minimum number would be 2000. You could have anything above that if you're on a commodity like US 100, and the number will be 20, which is 2 pips equivalent if you're on a currency pair such as Euro USD. Hopefully you found this useful, and thanks very much for watching.
Thank you, Steve. So we haven't missed a thing. We're waiting for the next alert. And because of all this nonsense here, I didn't take this buy. And this support and resistance line where I knew it respected. So we didn't take that, but that's okay. Don't need to trade. I only want 10% a month. And if you're looking there thinking, oh, I should have traded because I've got to go to work in a minute. Well, it doesn't work like that. You can only take what the market is prepared to give you. I mean, if you were in all this sort of area here, like you got out of bed and started trading in this area here, and then you were desperate to try and get a trade. You saw a sell alert, but there's no way you can get in. You'd be very frustrated. Then a sell here. That one wouldn't have worked. Let's just check that. Short position. $2.2 pips. What was there? What there? You'd have been. Whoa. Now there we are. That would have been really, really tight. You'd have had to be really on the metal to maybe get you 2%. But that is mighty, mighty close. But you also realize, I hope you'd have realized that previously we've had all this nonsense here, and so therefore and we've had sells that didn't work and buys that didn't work. So you would be thinking, oh, that's a bit of a risky trade. And I hope you would have been thinking, that's too risky for me. I would rather wait for better opportunities because of all the consolidation I'm seeing. And if you were really, really on the metal and hit your sell at the right time, you may just have got away with it. But it was so tight. I'd like to think that you guys wouldn't have done that, but I know some would. But again, we'll right, it's come to, yeah, I've just noticed also I should have picked it up earlier on, but this area here, 1.17000 is what we call a key zone. This is a psychological level that traders, investors like to take longer trades out, put longer trades in. So they use that level. So if we had a long-term trader who's looking for a buy, he may have taken a buy yesterday or whatever. His profit zone might be there. And also this is a psychological area that's respected a lot. So is price getting to here? So let's put this on take the indicators off again because we've got plenty of time, nothing's happening. And this area here, look, this area here is well within this imbalance. And indeed it's tapped into this, just about tapped into that imbalance candle there and now coming down. So I think it's prudent that I go back to the minute. We'll take that one away. We'll leave that there. And this is the scenario we're looking at. Short position. I keep reminding myself to make this as big as, that's a bit better. So keeping 2.2 pips away in respect that the green wave, this will carry on down and that will turn red. This is the sort of scenario we're looking at for a sell. Because we know here it's tapped into that imbalance I showed you on the 5-minute candle. So therefore it could come back down again to fill out, catch up all these imbalances down here before perhaps going back and filling out that imbalance. Because we know the volume's running out now. Visually, we can see it by the candles going sideways, and we can see it by the green volume band starting to go horizontal, the green wave, which is also a volume indicator as well. It's starting to decrease in length and going horizontal. So this is the sort of scenario we're looking at. Going to get me MT4. We're nowhere near it yet, but I'm going to get me MT4 up and going. Make sure you got your risk to reward in purple, your lot calc in purple, your all important 1%. And I like to keep 2.2 pips away, so I'm going to put in 22 in there. So when I turn it over, now I've got that locked, you see, so that means that's the stop loss locked. So that means it's locked there. So as the entry decreases and declines, obviously that 22 I put in there will change. So I'll take that off. So that's floating as well. So when you want to lock your stop loss, you just press the L for lock. And obviously I want to sell, so you reverse conditions. And that's what it looks like on the reverse. But like I said, we're nowhere near there yet. So we'll go back to trading view. But I'm ready if anything happens. I'm going to put the chat on now. And then so if anybody's got any questions about what they just saw, did anybody actually take this trade? For me, it's too risky, but I understand some people would. So if you did, if you're brave enough, put it in chat. And also, anybody watching me on my YouTube channel, write a question in there, and I'll get to see it eventually, and I will answer if you have any questions about what you've seen here today. Other than that, we sit and wait. But the whole idea of the Academy 55, I know I mentioned Fibonacci's and support and resistance lines and imbalances and all that, but the whole idea behind the Academy 55 is to simplify things for you guys, not to get into all that really. I'm always contradicting myself. I mean, a contradiction whether because technically you guys should realize all that and get all that knowledge. But at the end of the day, the Academy 55 strategy was designed so you didn't have to do. But my way of thinking is if you realize why price comes up to there and bounces, why did it do that? Because we've seen it on the higher time frame. And that gives you a bit more knowledge and maybe a bit more power to, and again, alleviate your anxieties you might be having. Thinking to myself, why did price do this? At the moment, Price is doing this because it's picking up orders. And if it picks up enough sell orders, down she comes. But within that, there might be buy orders, and then we'll carry on up to the next lot of orders up here. All right, okay, so we might have something going on because you can see the volume is petered right out. That's going to turn red at any second. The wave, if price gets down to this level down here, then green waves will go red. And we could have a sell on our hands. Because we know we've been in sell zone territory. But is this just more of this? Hopefully not. Clear blue skies down in Cornwall. Well, everywhere in the UK, to be fair. I'm led to believe. We have sea breezes down here, so make you guys jealous. It's a little bit cooler down here. Not so muggy. Still muggy, don't get me wrong, but went for a nice swim last night in the Foy River. 26, 27 degrees, just right. Don't do that very often. Even down in Cornwall, it's not that usually that warm. Right, I'm going to put my MT4 back on again because indeed we've got a red volume ribbon now. Price is tapping into this imbalance here. Hopefully it'll tap into these imbalances down here. Or is price going to respect the EMA 462, the purple line, and then bounce on back again? Or is it going to be enough volume to go down and tap into these imbalances on these candles here? Playing around again. Let's see what the latest news is, if there is any. Stock futures dip after Trump slaps tariffs on Canada. Dollar up. So that slightly is contradictory because the dollar is up and yet the euro is going up, because if the dollar's up, the euro goes down, and vice versa. I don't really understand all that sort of stuff. I just read the price action, what's going on. But yeah, I should take a mental note and stick to the fact that back to basics. The original idea behind the Academy 55 was to simplify things as much as possible, because you can have what they call analysis paralysis. You can analyze things and talk yourself out of things, talk yourself into things, and just looking at the zones and red, red, red for a sell, green, green, green for a buy. That's the way it was originally designed to do. But me, with my analytical brain on and the amount of years I've been doing this analytical stuff, I just can't help myself. Yeah, we're going into more consolidation, fortunately. And indeed, if this carries on, this situation carries on, going sideways, you'll find that that could be a new sell zone. Let's just quickly look on the charts. Yeah, this could become a new sell zone up here. So we know to take the next sell anyway. So it doesn't really change as far as we're concerned. But keep checking back because it just gives you that extra confirmation. Things are leveling off now. Well, obviously. And we haven't lost any money. And that's the most important thing. Nice to see so many of our members on this morning. Hope you have a nice day ahead. I know we got one or two people from Canada, absolute insomniacs to be on with us this time in the morning, but they do. In Canada, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, at least, even earlier than that in some parts of the Canada. Oh, excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on silent at the moment. And if anything happens or any questions or anything like that, I will come back on air, but I'll go silent for a minute. So I ain't gone anywhere. I'm just watching the same as you guys. Okay, so we are creeping down. It's so minuscule, but we are getting slightly lower lows. So things could be, the sellers might be gaining a bit of control. We've got a red wave now. We're missing out all important sell alert though. The green trend line is going at 3 o'clock. If you can imagine a clock face, it's that sort of an indication that could go red at any time. Prices ends up down here, it certainly will. This is where I want my stop loss. There. I'm going to lock it in yet because the way it's going, it's all very nervy sort of action. There's nothing concrete going on. The trend line is even more, well, it's definitely at 3 o'clock now, so you can see that could go red at any stage. Well, obviously, we haven't got that all important sell alert yet, but that ain't too far away. But it's a very nervy action, isn't it? It's going sideways very nervously. Not really sure of what to do. There's no red flags on the horizon at the moment. Sure, from a trading point of view, we stay away from red flags because you never know what's going to go, whether it's going to be good or bad for that currency. But red flags make the market move. Looking at the time now, it's nearly coming up to 10 to 9. Sometimes, not, but sometimes on the hour, we do get a bit of a move on a candle. Sometimes it can be like that. I'm not saying it will be, but and of course it might be in our favor, it might not. And indeed, the trend line has gone red now. So technically, all we want is a nice sell alert. to happen, and that'll happen probably. Right. So put that up there like that, and go sell. Right, we're in a sell. As quick as that. I'm 3.3 pips away. I am underneath the purple line though, so I'm fearing, well, not fearing, but and sell alert has disappeared. This is how nervy it is in the markets at the moment. But hopefully we'll gain a little bit of power and come back to. But just here, is it going to bounce or break? Depending on what time of the day it is. Well, the time of the day hasn't got nothing to do with it. It depends on if the sellers are well in charge. Then here comes my old sell back again, which is good. Proves I'm not a liar. Hopefully, it'll stay painted this time and have a bit more volume for a bit more of a downward push. Which indeed it is. Perhaps I should say that more often. Perhaps it listens to me. Just like your mobile phone listens to you. Start talking about tractors, all of a sudden on Facebook, there'll be an advert for a tractor. I've never been on a tractor in my life. So here we are. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw this up onto, so I'm 3.3 pips away. There, that's where I got in, 3.3 pips. 33, which is there. 2 to 1 is there. That looks about right, doesn't it? Yes, that's right. So this is where we are. So I take the indicators off and I go, remove that and go into the 5 minute and look at the bigger picture. And we got imbalance down there. I'm hoping that price will want to break this imbalance on this candle here. But just like it did up there, it might want to tap into this, which is on that line at 1848, and then stay along this line or bounce or break. That's the worry. Well, not worry, it's not a worry, but it's a thing to look out for. So at 848, but at the same time, I'm going to be going for a 1% loss or a 2% win. The only time when I may consider putting my stop loss to my entry is if the power SAR comes down this way, but it's got a long way to go yet. Usually I advocate not even watching the trades because I go and make a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever the case may be. Because whatever, this is just going to give you mental angst watching this. You ain't going to, no matter how many trees you hug, no matter how many dances you do, no matter how much praying or whatever you do, you ain't going to alter what the price is going to do. So you're in it now. It's actually respected that purple line now. Hopefully it's got enough volume to go down to what we needed to do. But see, it's rebounding off there. Yeah, over till it's over. A 1% loss is not a big deal. Really isn't. Again, let's put it on trading view. Indeed, it did bounce off that purple line. Take the indicators off, go on the 5-minute time frame. See, it didn't tap into all that imbalance. And indeed, all that imbalance is down there. So just where our 2% is. So hopefully, but then again, we created imbalances up here. So it might indeed come all the way up to here with this imbalance and then come back down again, or whatever. I don't. But like I say, we got a 75% win rate with these trades. So we hold on to that and we accept a 1% loss or a 2% gain, whatever the case may be. And act accordingly. Like I said, 9 o'clock, sometimes we get a sometimes we get maybe a bit of a larger candle than other times of the hour. Sometimes. We'll see in a minute. Over 3 minutes. I mean, not to worry about this situation because I've seen all of a sudden we're in a buy alert come up and then yet price goes up to there and still comes back down and gets our 2%. Like I said, we got a 75% win rate. So that also means there's a 25% chance that it will not win, but 75% is if you had that in a casino, you'd take it. And all the time, if we have a 1% loss, that's the way it is. So whatever the case, it's coming up to my time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this up and running. I am going to put it on mute, and I'm going to say to you guys, have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll come back strong next week. I'll put this on mute now. I'm going to leave it all exactly the same, leave it run out to its entirety, one way or the other, and then I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend, but still stay watching. I'll put it on mute and we'll see what happens. So have a great weekend and a great day and keep cool, everybody. I just noticed something. For some reason my 2% is there and my 1% is there. So I've got to alter that for the technical buffs. I don't know why that changed. But now underneath the purple line, and I feel I'm going to put my stop loss to my entry. And so therefore I'm going to have a risk-free trade of whatever the future holds. And hopefully we're going to get a bit of money. But you can never be too sure with trading. Now I've got a risk-free trade. I'm not going to, because this is in balance. Are they going to come out and take that and then go back down again? Or maybe they got the dollar's gone weak again. But it's been playing around a lot now, so it's kind of respecting that purple line because this is the 462 of these candles. So we wouldn't be surprised this is where it likes to be. Obviously, I'm hoping really that we have enough volume to get our 2% because we had a 75% chance of it doing that. But you can have a perfect setup and trading isn't like that. If it was like that, we'd all be very rich. But doing it the way I'm doing it, with a small monthly target consistently, well, you can look in my journal and see the results for yourself. I'll go back on mute again now. I might even follow these parabolic stars if we do carry on down, if it carries on going like this, follow these parabolic stars down. So that's not a stop loss, that will be stop profit bit by bit if we get that far, but who knows? In a very nervy market, to have a risk-free trade like this is quite good. Right, I'm going to put my stop loss and stop profit just there. I mean, it's the derisory amount, but it's $100 on a $100,000 account. It's a bit of something. Following the parallels are all the way down because this situation where it goes sideways happens quite a lot. It's respecting this purple line. Doesn't seem to have the volume to sort of break that at the moment. So I'm hoping, well, if it carries on like this, parabolic stars will keep coming down. At least I'll get a little bit of something, and respectful of the fact that it could zoom on up because it's respecting this line. Picking orders, are they going to be buy orders? In which case, up she goes. Right, I can bring this down again. So now I've got nearly $200 now on a $100,000 account. So I'm feeling a bit better about the trade now. At least I'm getting a little bit of money for um my actions. And indeed, I've been taking out the trade. I've got $200. So, I mean, it would have stayed there. From what I can see, this purple line is holding. And do they intend to go up anyway? Maybe. But I got $200 for my actions. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's a shame we nearly got to the 2%, but there will be other opportunities during the day if your lifestyle allows it. So with that being said, guys, have yourselves a great day, great weekend, and we will come back strong again next week and speak to you soon. Bye for now.